Hey everyone and welcome. In the following video I'm going to show you how to style the buttons with your WordPress theme. So with our themes we offer you two different types of buttons. One, the secondary button, one with this nice underline option, and two, the primary button here with the nice hover effect and the borders. And they can be used in different sections throughout the site depending on the style. Depending how much you really want the button to stand out, you can decide on which one you would like to use on a block per block basis. Now, with our theme, we give you the option to set up a few different variations, and you can see those variations and options in Flothemes, generics, and then generic buttons. And then in here, you'll see that there is a primary button that I just showed you with the background and the border, and the secondary button. And to change the options for that, you can switch between primary and secondary. And then for each of those, you'll have the option to update the font. So you can choose any of the font styles available, or click edit here to edit the actual font style that's used for the buttons. And then you'll notice the second part is the color schemes. And then we have three different variations for color schemes. And this will basically allow you to apply different style buttons depending on the type of background that might be on the page or the block specifically that you're using. As default, accent color will be used first, and then of course if you use a custom button style, you can choose between dark and light. So you can change the following things: the text colors, the text color whenever it's hovered. So for example, if we look here, you'll see that the hover turns the button text light and the button background to this nice gold color, and you'll see that that is the actual color here, the background color when hovered. Now if you want to change any of those, you can simply flick the switch, choose the color that you want and apply it. Very, very simple. So let's go ahead and I'll just change one of those for you. I'm going to change the color when hover here to this blue color just so it stands out. And then I'm going to change the background color to something like, let's give it another go here as well. We will do a nice dark black over here. And actually I'm going to change this hover color to something that you can read, to white. Now, we also have the dark and light. Again, you can configure those and I'll show you how they will work later. But basically the process and the reason for this is if you have a light background, for example, you'll want to use a button that's dark, and that way the button will actually stand out there and make people want to click it. The same with if you have a dark background, you'll want to use a button that's light, so you'll use the light style button just so that it works over dark backgrounds, and as I mentioned, it will really stand out. And this will also go for the secondary call to action. You'll have the same principle, but here you'll have the text color on hover, and the underline color on hover as well. So in this case, you'll probably keep all of the elements relatively similar whenever hovered. You might have a little bit of a color change just to let the user know that it is a button and it switches, and the same with the dark and the accent colors as well. In our case, we actually keep it all the same, but you may want to change the color here just a little bit. Now I'm going to head over to a page and I'm going to show you how that works. So now we're in a page. I went to the layout section as always, and I'm going to look at a specific block. So we have image block 2 with the secondary call to action, and image block 3 with the primary call to action button. I'm going to check out image block 2 first to show you what I mean whenever we change the colors and choose a different style option for that. So right now we actually have the accent color option, but we could easily have chosen a dark background color, for example, for this block, and we wanted to choose a different style based on that. So to do that, you can come down to the button area. So you'll have the button text, the button link, and then the button type. And with the button type, as shown, you can choose the type A or B, so primary or secondary, and then the style. So accent, dark, or light. Now if we chose light on this background color, for example, you wouldn't be able to read it. If we chose dark, it would actually work just fine and you'll still be able to see that. So if I went and updated this page, you'll be able to see that we have the dark button on there. And I'll just do the same with the secondary button first before I update the page to show you the changes. And to give you another example of that, and let's scroll down here again. So this case, I'm going to use a light button in this particular option to see how that looks. And again, if there's any other buttons in here, you can update those also. So again, choose the button type, B or A, choose the style, and then just go ahead and save your page as always. Now, I did update the button a moment ago with those colors as shown, with the blue for the accent color for the primary button, just so you can see the change there, and that applies here. But I will now save this page, and we should have updates to both the primary and the secondary button for these two blocks specifically. So here, as shown, we have the light button. Again, this is the reason why you don't use a light button over a light background, because obviously it's not going to stand out very well. But in this case, the dark button does work well over this light background, and it looks great. So there you have it, folks. Updating the button styles, and you can also choose the button type and style per block if you're making updates to your website and you really want to make your call to actions stand out to your users. It's super important that you do this and that you make sure that your buttons do stand out whenever you're using them for different blocks, especially if you're changing background colors, because it's really important to get users to click on the things that you want whenever they're navigating through your site. So go ahead, update your buttons and styles today to match your branding and get using them in the blocks.